So, Christy, why are we here?
We're hiking.
On a date.
This is where Matt proposed.
Ooh.
Way up there.
That's right.
We hiked this in the dark.
That's right.
By moonlight with a shovel to dig for buried treasure.
I know. We're going to tell the whole story when we get to the top. But right now, we're just going to romantically hike this mountain. We'll tell you the story later.
Bye.
Alright, so it's story time. We're at the spot. Well, that spot is secret.
We would have to kill you.
That's true. And also, it was bad for audio. Hey, so we dated for 4 years, and it was time to get married. Essentially, college was going to end, and we talked about it and decided this is what we wanted to do. Obviously, you've met her. There was no question in my mind whatsoever. She had her doubts, reasonably so, but eventually I was able to convince her.
You worked hard.
I did. And this is at the point where, like, I've talked to her dad, and she knows it, and we're coming up on our anniversary.
We shopped together for rings.
That's right, yeah. I mean, it was like, it was happening. It was just a matter of when is the question going to happen. Now, if you know me, I'm an artist, but I'm also more of a lover. When it comes to things like that, I'm a romantic.
In high school, his nickname was Matthew Romeo. Remember?
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
You got a nickname based on your middle initial, so Matt R. made him Matt Romeo.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's a fun memory.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, I had a habit of, in spectacular fashion, asking Christy to dances and whatnot. So it was time to get engaged, and here's the thing. I had this treasure, and you guys know how I am about treasure, that I'd had since I was like 5 or 6, like when I was old enough to go to a garage sale with my own money and buy something. And I bought this pink treasure chest. It was like a wood-painted pink treasure chest, and I had it forever. And what was so cool about it was that the floor of the treasure chest had a little nail on it. If you pulled the nail, there was like a false bottom, and underneath was like you could store a letter or a photograph or whatever. And so
Totally something Ryder would do right now.
Yeah.
It's funny that he's like you.
and I saved it for my whole life because it was super special. Like, I moved it from California and moved it around. It was like, later I became kind of embarrassed that I had this pink treasure box, but it was still so special to me. And so I decided that I was going to give it to my special lady. And so what I did, though, was I undertook, in pure Matt fashion, a ridiculous project with a ridiculous timeline, because we needed to get engaged on our dating anniversary, which was May 12. And so I was like, okay, I need to strip this thing down to bare wood, which I'd never done before, and sand it down and stain it and urethane it and just make it look like an amazing pirate chest, which I did for her. Then I filled it with black, like, what do you call it stuff? Velvet, yeah. And then I put the ring in it, okay? Now, I wanted this to be super, super fun. So I made a scavenger hunt, and we had clues that led all over the Tucson and stuff, and it was fun. We actually just recently found the clues. Christy has them in a Save Forever spot, which is cool.
In the treasure chest, which is on my desk.
Yeah, it was under the hidden floor thing. That's why I didn't know they were there, which is cool. We hid them from myself. I wanted to do a treasure hunt that we were going from clue to clue all around town, and then it led us to a secret spot where we used to like to hike and come up to, and I thought, how cool would it be if I actually buried it up there? And so I was working on this treasure chest with my buddies like all night, finishing this thing, like literally didn't sleep at all. It was the morning, and I needed to get up here and bury it because I still had to get all the clues to all the places that we had to go. And so then I'm hiking up the mountain, and it's summer. I mean, it's May, and it's 100 degrees, and it's now quite late in the day because it took me quite a while to get all this done. And so it's very hot, and I start getting slower and slower, and all of a sudden I wish I had drank some water, and I can't remember the last time I drank some water. And I laid down on the path for about 30 minutes. Like, I found a shady bush and like laid under like a spot like this, and was just like for 30 minutes. And then I remember getting to the point physically where I thought, either my body is either going to shut down and I'm going to faint, or I'm going to throw up. It's one of those two choices. And I had like a backpack and a shovel and a treasure chest and all this gear, and my whole my whole future is riding on this moment. So I was like, all right, man up. And so I was like, okay, so I tried to throw up and then felt better and climbed the rest of the way to our secret spot where I buried the treasure. And then it was super funny because we had a date scheduled on our 4-year dating anniversary. Big deal, right? After we're ready to get engaged. She knows it's coming. It's probably right now. And I was not on time, was I?
No. You're like hours late.
Yeah.
So I got up and did my morning run and got showered and got all cute and put on my cute clothes that something that he had gotten me one time when we went shopping together, and was waiting in my house, and I waited for
it's overalls, by the way, not like a negligee or something. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we were good kids.
Yeah, we were good. I'm just saying the way you said it, that people think.
I wasn't thinking.
I know,
that.
but people think that.
True.
We didn't think that way.
We didn't think that way. I'm still a good kid.
I know we are.
I said me.
I tried to jump in.
Yeah, so we waited for an hour and 2 hours, and then I was really irritated. So I changed out of my nice clothes, and I put on my scrubby workout clothes, and I went rollerblading. I said, forget you. I'm going to do something fun on our anniversary. So I went and had fun and got all smelly.
While I'm dying in the desert.
Yeah.
Like praying that I'll survive. Yeah, it's super funny. Like I really did. Like it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I can go on. And this was before the days of cell phones. And I hadn't, it's like my friends generally knew that I was going to go bury a treasure chest in the desert. And I started to as I'm laying in the desert, think of all of the things that were wrong with my plan. Like nobody knew where I was because it was a big secret. And it was our secret spot.
Then he finally showed up.
Yeah.
And
we go on our
changed
thing.
clothes, but I was mad because then he smelled bad. And I thought, you came to me on our anniversary smelling like sweat? That's gross.
Well, I took a shower for this one. Okay, and so then, do you remember any of the clues or what?
Oh, yeah.
You just looked at them because I don't remember. I'm telling you about it.
Well, he just dropped the first one off and then he left. I hugged him, his smelly self. I hugged him. And then he left. And so the first clue, and I had a couple things to gather from around my house. A cooler or a water bottle that he had set up, and then I had to drive to a pool where we used to go swim and play, and that was where he was, and so I picked him up with the second clue. And in your car, you left me your car and you walked over there.
Nice.
I know. And then we drove to your house and we picked up a lunch that you had packed, and there were some flowers that you had left somewhere, and so we went and picked those up, and that you had grown and picked. And there was more water, more water. There were two clues of water. Good job planning that.
That's funny.
Clue part.
Planning it, but not applying it to my
Right.
own life. Yeah.
And then we had to go out and find a shovel.
Yeah, the shovel, right? I had a camping folding shovel. Those things are awesome. I wish I still had that.
And then eventually the clues led us to the base of this mountain that we used to like to hike. And then the next clue said to follow your hiking guide up the mountain. And so we got up here, and by this time it was really late, really late.
Yeah,
so by this time
dark.
it was dark. It was dark. We hiked by moonlight, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think by now I was over being mad at him.
So I will describe our secret spot to you, okay? So it's in the valley. So you can imagine a mountain range has, big rocky outcroppings, and that makes up a giant mountain. Well, in between two of them, there's this valley, and they kind of come together, and there's a river that we're in right now. You can see water would come flash flooding down this, and it gets to a spot where someone has built a little rock wall that's a dam, and there's a waterfall that just drops maybe 30, 40 feet, just kind of straight down, and all below is what used to just be Tucson Wilderness. Now it's Tucson City. It's kind of funny because it's grown so much. But the little dam there has all the sand comes down and gets piled up in there, and so it's the perfect place for digging. And so I had buried it, and of course, this ring was my life savings, of course. And I actually had a job and really did save up for it. It was a big deal.
It was a nice ring.
It was a nice ring. It was a big deal to me. This is the most important thing. The most important thing. And so I didn't leave it in a chest that I buried. I had it, carefully hidden. And so once she, that way I got down on my hands and knees and lifted the treasure chest out, and then I lifted it out, and then I had sneakily snuck it in there, so that when as she opened it, it looked like a giant ring box with a very tiny ring in it. And then she still wears that ring today. Yeah, and look we have new jewels in our life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blessings like this one.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's our story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspires you to remember something fun. Good stuff. And of course, Imperial Beach Dad on the YouTubes. Yeah, you love us too. You're a goodie. Okay, thank you. That was fun.
Welcome. That was